Look back. Say cheese. We made it.
Target, we don't do no rooms, we don't pay no shows. You look bitty, bitch, you should work at Lotus. You a old hater, you a fucking cool. You a yeah, y'all like twin sisters. Respect. I don't know if y'all understand, we got Homo Louisiana in the motherfucking house.
I've heard of some people contending, for instance, that there is like a building that's older than this. The foundation of this building, for starters, goes back to 1734. The city of New Orleans was founded in 1718. This was essentially the discovery of a man known as Sir Bienville as a penal colony for France, which I'm gonna beat you to the punch if you're gonna start and tell me like this explains a lot today. By 1724, it was over 80% of the city of New Orleans was inhabited by arsonists, rapists, murderers, thieves, etc. of the city limits. And cemeteries are usually gonna be just outside of the boundary lines because just like nuns and monks don't wanna live with all you awful sinners, you don't wanna live with rotting corpses. And like to just illustrate, the body goes in the top, you push the ashes in this way, and it falls in the receptacle that sits in the bottom, and that contains the ashes of everyone that's ever been in there.
Oh my goodness, how
So
interesting.
in a standard tomb,
Wow.
like this one, 40 to 60 people, the remains of 40 to 60 people could go inside of one of those. There are a lot that we don't go in a year before. It has to go in for a year and 1 day. It's not exactly because of the design, there's a lot of other reasons. One of them, yes ma'am.
What if other family members die?
Great. Behind these young gentlemen.
They're waiting.
The wall vaults.
Oh.
These are used for a number of reasons, but one purpose that they serve. I'm so glad you asked. I love it. Yeah, no, I'm so glad you asked. I was gonna say it anyways, but so these here, and you'll see that many of these are unoccupied today. They're not being used, but historically, that's what they're used for. They're a placeholder. There's a lot of clergy, a lot of priests and nuns buried in St. Louis 3. St. Louis 1. The Portuguese Society tomb, the Italian Benevolent Society. They all have these very fancy names, like the Italian Benevolent Society. But they were groups of immigrants. Perhaps like they never moved the rest of their family here. They came over here by themselves. They didn't want to go in a wall vault. They wanted a nice fancy tomb.
Oh wow, those are more people.
Yep.
Wow.
The most famous of the tombs, these society tombs, is the one you see in Easy Rider when they filmed it in St. Louis #1. Peter Fonda may or may not have been on LSD.
Fully functioning normal.
This is a fully functioning normal hospital before that. Mental health, about the homeless population in the city of New Orleans. It was that after Katrina, all of our medical facilities are for profit. We don't have any charitable ones. For instance, Charity Hospital, I believe, was the largest charity hospital in the world. It operated here in the city of New Orleans. Because historically, this is a city that has been impoverished, that has been like below the income level. We would really need a charity hospital, and it's in the history of this place. Color in the United States since 1825. It's the birthplace of the brass and tradition, and the way that we see it depicted. Everywhere in the sculpture garden portion of the park is a different chapter in the early history of jazz. But the very beginnings are here. And what this sculpture is depicting is the gatherings that would take place as early as 1720 in the city of New Orleans, because this was formerly a French colony. And something that wouldn't happen in a British colony would be that slavery would be regulated. There were laws in place to supposedly to regulate and supposedly protect whatever rights you might still have as an enslaved person. Emancipation, for instance, was legally stipulated. You had to legally be able to free yourself through the course of work, but you had to be provided emancipation legally. It was still arduous, long-suffering. It would take a lifetime. Because this was a Catholic city, it was prohibited for anybody to work on Sunday, whether they were a free person or an enslaved person. So as early as 1720, no later than 1727, some Sunday, a West African drum circle takes place here in Congo Square. For the first time easily in U.S. history, just for fun. I always pick one of the 13 original colonies, but we'll pick Virginia today. Like, if you think of the early history of Virginia, but like any early British colony, you would never hear in the early history, not in a million years, that enslaved people were free every Sunday to go outside of the city to have a marketplace and to play West African music. And starting whatever the first Sunday was, every Sunday after that, it starts a tradition. Every Sunday for 200 years. And if it's not a melting pot, if all of this is a gumbo pot, if the Creole culture is a gumbo pot, jazz music is the ultimate gumbo of music and cultures.
Where you going?
This way. Bye-bye. still that's so far away. Looking through the smoke in the mirror. Crazy how I see you so clear. Crazy how I see you so clear. And how you make me smile. And how you make me smile, oh yeah. And how you make me smile, oh baby, how you make me smile. Smile more when I see you. Smile less when I miss you. No, I don't wanna be left alone. Oh no.